Thanks for joining us on your Sunday. I'm Holly Emery, and here's a look at some of your local news from across the state and right here in the metro. We're going to start things off in North Mississippi, though. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting that was involving the Desoto County Sheriff's Office. Now, the incident happened at a home on Bankston Road in Nesbitt. MBI says deputies were responding to a noise complaint at the residence, and when deputies arrived, they were approached by a group of individuals, and they were told, the officers, that someone had been firing a weapon. Now, deputies were able to locate that person, but they were fleeing into a wooded area. And that person later came out of the wooded area and displayed that weapon towards deputies, resulting in those deputies firing their weapons at the person. The person died from their injuries. No deputies were physically injured during the encounter. MBI is currently assessing the critical incident and they're gathering evidence. So it could be some time before we find out anything or if anything else happened in that incident. Also happening here in the Jackson Metro, we have a breaking news update today. We now know the names of the two victims killed in a crash after a police chase in Hinds County yesterday. Now, coroner Jeremiah Howard identifies the victims as 48-year-old Shaylee Davenport and 66-year-old Deborah Washington. Now, the crash happened near the intersection of Raymond Road Extension and Robinson Road around 10:30 yesterday morning. Now, an officer spotted a shoplifting suspect earlier in the day heading north on I-55, and the suspect pulled over when the officer pulled him over, and the officer told him to get out of the car. However, that suspect took off. Now, the chase ended when that suspect crashed their vehicle into another vehicle which had three people, and two of them were Shaylee and Deborah Washington, and they were injured, or they died because of that crash. And a third person was taken to the hospital for their injuries. The suspect was also taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. And we're still waiting to hear back on the condition of that third person. But we'll make sure to update you when we learn more details about that. So just from everyone here at WLBT, we're just thoughts and prayers with those people that, honestly, innocent bystanders that were hit in that crash. And again, those two people have died and they're identified. A third person is still in the hospital today. And now with us is Anae Scales, and she's going to have a much better look at the weather than we had last night. It was loud.
Yeah, right. I woke up multiple times because of those rumbles of thunder that we had, a few severe thunderstorm warnings, and a tornado warning. However, the good news is, or a good indication is that although we do have a couple reports of downed trees in the National Weather Service group chat, they haven't really mentioned going out to do a survey for tornado.
So at the moment, touchdown.
So there was one moment when we had a debris signature.
Okay.
That one time south of Yazoo City.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't went to survey it at the moment. We'll keep you updated as we learn information about if that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like so far there haven't been many reports in that area of a lot of damage, besides a couple of trees down in especially Leake County, Rankin County. But
Leake and Rankin.
Yes, Leake and Rankin. I know that they had a severe thunderstorm roll through yesterday, but the damage reports have been fairly minimal from this point, and it hasn't seemed like we've had a lot of reports from tornadoes or tornado damage. So that is a good sign.
Absolutely.
From what we had yesterday. But if we look outside right now, beautiful conditions, a very nice sunset going on across central Mississippi. This is a view from Ridgeland. And like I said, I can't complain. It's pretty much picture perfect evening today, a huge contrast to yesterday. And we're already in the 60s again, upper 60s in Jackson, still low 70s in Macomb though. Next couple of hours, of course, will continue to cool off, perhaps those upper 50s already by 9 p.m. Waking up tomorrow morning, it'll be on the chilly side, mid to upper 40s. Our afternoon high is going to be 78. So still very beautiful fall-like weather, and our rain chances are close to zero. Going to be dry conditions, but that's not going to last too long. In fact, as we head into your Tuesday, that's actually when we see the next chance for a little bit of scattered showers. This is actually a reinforcing cold front, but not going to be anything like what we saw yesterday, the widespread showers and thunderstorms. Just a little bit of rainfall, especially for the first half of the day. Then going to dry back out for most of the week. The end of your work week is going to be fine as far as rain chances are concerned, but
there it comes.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms potentially moving back into the area over the weekend again. Saturday and Sunday could see some heavy rainfall. And of course, it's still several days out. However, this system could be kind of potent. There's some indications that we could have some kind of strong thunderstorms potentially heading into the next weekend,
but not like what we just saw last night as much.
It's hard to say.
Okay.
It's there. So their confidence is low right now for a severe risk.
Okay.
However, it'll become more clear as we go through the week. But just keep your eye out. Yeah, keep your eye out. Stay with us. We're going to continue looking at this system throughout the week. Let you know how things are shaping up. But for now, there's potential for some hefty thunderstorms over the weekend. And then looks like rain chances are returned once again as early as our upcoming Tuesday. Until then, though, we're going to have really dry air. So with the days when we don't have rain chances, there's actually a small chance for fire conditions because of the dryness that we're going to see after the cold fronts that are passing through the area. And just a brief look at the tropics. The Caribbean Sea has a 70% chance of seeing a tropical depression form in that area. But notice it's staying far to the south. It'll be affecting areas in the Caribbean as well as Central America near Nicaragua, places like that.
Mm-hmm.
We are not expecting that to move towards the north. So the Gulf Coast is clear. East Coast of the U.S. also clear. So pretty much the main story throughout the next several days, beautiful fall-like weather. Our first alert 10-day forecast, very pleasant. Our temperature staying fairly consistent, although our rain chances kind of rising, falling, hit or miss rain chances. We are going to have fairly consistent temperatures, low 80s for a couple of days, but that's short-lived. And then another front comes through and pushes us back into those mid 70s. So fall officially here finally.
Finally, we've been waiting for it.
Right. It's been official for about a month, but we've been creeping back towards the 90s. And it looks like we are, for the extended forecast, hopefully done with that.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. And I mean, it's getting into the end of October. So
it should
be.
Sense. It should be. But, it's 80 degrees on Christmas sometimes. So.
That unfortunately is true.
That's true.
It looks like for the foreseeable forecast, though, enjoy the 70s. We're going to see them a lot. And in the mornings, you're going to need cardigans. We're going to be in those 40s for a couple days next week. Or this week, I should say. A couple days this week and likely next week as well. But yeah.
And I realize I've been kind of failing our viewers. I told you I was going to ask you like personal questions every single time so we get to know the true Anae. And the personal question today is, what is her favorite soup? Because it's soup season for me. I know Todd had said that he's like, throw the soup out. It's gumbo season.
Gumbo is better.
But I'm like, okay, if we're excluding gumbo because that's just such a superior food.
Yeah.
What is your soup of the season? Like, what's the one you're going to make?
Honestly, what am I gonna make? I just a standard chicken noodle soup. To be honest, I'm not really a soup connoisseur. I as a child didn't eat it as much. I'm just now getting into my soup era, to be honest.
In the soup era?
Yes.
But okay, so your first soup that you're gonna make in this nice weather that we're gonna have is gonna be chicken noodle.
Yes, because I have frozen chicken broth already.
Oh, we were talking about this.
Yes, we were
getting the bone broth and everything.
Yes, I've been meal prepping with chicken, so I freeze the broth because I know that I'm gonna make a soup, but I don't have elaborate plans. So you probably have some better suggestions.
We were talking about it, and I'm still learning, so I don't want to give them out to the public yet because if I give somebody food poisoning, I don't want to be responsible.
Yeah, we're going.
I don't want to be responsible for that.
We're going on a soup journey.
Yes, we're gonna go on a soup journey with you. So every week we'll be telling you what soup we're trying. I'm just kidding. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie to the public. But you know what? It's been beautiful weather, and October it's true fall. It's Halloween and spooky season, but it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And today there was an event that was held just for them. Take a look at this. It's called the Pretty Pink and Pampered event. Now, it brought dozens of breast cancer patients and survivors out to the Homewood Suites Hotel in Jackson. The goal of the event was to shower women for an afternoon full of gifts and hair makeovers and much more. These women got a chance to get their nails done along with massages. Later on in the afternoon, survivors got up and shared their stories of their battles with breast cancer. The organizer of the Pretty Pink and Pampered Day says she wanted to give back to all of these strong women so that they could just sit back, relax, and enjoy the day. Take a listen.
What we do is we just try to give them one day of just forgetting about, everything. And how about doing that is a good pamper day. So when you're getting pampered and getting your hair done, getting your makeup done, it makes you feel good. It's not a cure, but it makes you feel good for that day and the next day. And just carry
Now, the entire month of October is dedicated to honoring breast cancer survivors along with spreading continued awareness of the disease. And our Nathan Lee is here. I know the NFL does a lot of good stuff for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but there was more happening than just Breast Cancer Awareness Month on the field. The Saints took on the Bears,
Yes.
and are you okay?
I'm pretty silent right now. I think that should tell everyone how I'm feeling. But Saints took on the Bears, the Red Hot Bears. To add to that, came into this one winners of 3 straight. Right, the first 2 games of the season, everything was burning down in Chicago. Now they're 4-2. They did defeat the Saints today, 26-14, and really, that guy right there in the backfield, as well as this guy, the rookie, they really took control of this game running the ball. They had over 200 rushing yards. And if you're doing that in the NFL, you're doing something right. The Saints, it was just a abysmal start on offense. That's their first touchdown right there, right before the first half. I want to go through their first few drives, right? Their first drive, they had a fumble. Then they had a punt. Then they had a missed field goal. Then they had an interception. Then they had a punt. Then they turned the ball over on downs, right?
Yikes.
And then they got that touchdown right before half. So it just shows you where the offense was today. And we've talked about this, Holly.
Mhm.
You know, Rattler, he hasn't been the problem. Well, today it was his worst day of the season. And that's not being overcritical. It's just me looking at it, with an objective view here. He was flustered, and it was really because of this Dennis Allen defense. Now, for Saints fans, y'all hear that name and probably don't like to hear that name. Dennis Allen, the former head coach for the Saints last season. Obviously, that didn't work out, but man, does he have this defense flying around. Unbelievable what I saw from the Bears defense. And Montez Sweat, he took over when it came to pass rush. Their corners were playing really good. 3 interceptions for Spencer Rattler today. Obviously, the one that was tipped at the end, it was really well covered. Wasn't really a mistake, I would say, but the 2 others, great defense. The other 2 were just not great decisions. So for Saints fans, I know this was one of those games you look at and you say you can get a win. The Bears, though, they played their butts off, and Ben Johnson's got them playing some really good football out there in Chicago. You can kind of see them turning that leaf in Chicago. And for the Saints, it really comes back down to the running game. Like I've said the past few weeks, it doesn't feel like they're committing to the run game enough, in my opinion. I really, that's kind of my biggest thing. And I get it. Kendre Miller, he did get hurt in this game, and you don't want to overload Alvin Kamara. And then after those 2 guys, you really don't have that much depth in the running back room. Devin Neal, the rookie from Kansas, he got to carry the day. That's the first time we've seen him all season. So the depth is starting to show its teeth a little bit for the Saints as well. When one guy goes out, who's going to step up? There's not really that many other people behind them. But for the Saints, the extremely slow start, putting yourself down 20-0 early on. I mean, in the NFL, it's almost impossible to make that kind of a comeback. Right. We've seen it before, but it's very hard, especially for a team like the Saints that when you look at their offense, they're not an offense it's built to make comebacks, even though they really tried their butts off in this one. They got those 14 unanswered points to end the first half and then to start the second half. But, this play right here, that was kind of the sealer, in my opinion. That interception right there is kind of took all the momentum the Saints did have away. So, from my point of view, it was one of those games where you saw the talent. But for Saints fans, we did get to see a lot of young players make some great plays. Quincy Riley had an interception, the rookie from Louisville. Kind of been wanting to see him make some plays. We saw Jonas Sanker back out there after a tough day last week. He's been playing some good ball season. Had a bad day last week. This week he had some good plays out there. You see the veterans, Chase Young. I do want to point out Chase Young. Been waiting for him to get healthy. Last week was his first game of the season. But coming back from that injury today, he had multiple plays, was all over the field. So that's a good sign for Saints fans. A guy that you paid some money this offseason to that had a lot of hype coming into the NFL. Hasn't really panned out, obviously being the first overall pick and stuff, but that was a good sign. So there's little takeaways, right? There's little things to be proud of. I think all Saints fans understand that this team is not going to win a lot of games this year. There are games you can win, but when you put yourself in a 20-0 hole, you're not going to win a lot of games. Because the thing is, you get down 20-0. Look at the final score, 26-14. The defense stepped up. They hold the offense for the Bears to only 6 points in the second half. If you do that in the first half, where you don't have such a slow start on offense, you have an opportunity in this game. It's opportunities. If you're watching on air, on here, on Beyond the End Zone, the biggest thing that I've hit on is these missed opportunities for the Saints. It comes back to bite them again.
Absolutely. And again, I know that hurts for you to say that as a Saints fan. And I didn't even ask him when I walked in. Normally I come in and I'm very cheery and I'm just like, hey, Nate, how's the Saints game going? I
Didn't even try
Can't
today.
even try today.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna be honest. I've kind of stopped. I don't
No.
want to give you false hope.
Yeah.
As a Lions fan, I've been you. It
Yes.
sucks.
Mhm.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It takes years.
It's gonna take a long time. And
It
Saints
takes
fans, don't hold your breath. It's gonna take a second. Let Kellen Moore do his thing. I know there's a lot of these guys getting fired. These coaches, we're already seeing one get fired out there in Tennessee. I don't like that conversation around Kellen Moore.
Right.
He's young. He's learning. Just like they're building this team, it's going to take some time for him to get into that, that real role as a head coach and an elite head coach. It's going to take him some time. I love some of the play calls we had today were great. There was one play that did get called back because it was a pass over the middle and to Taysom Hill. He catches it, and then he slings it across the field to Alvin Kamara. But since the ball was forward, it was an illegal forward pass. If it was backwards, they would got a first down on 3rd and 20. It was a really cool play. Didn't execute it, but you see some good things from this team, obviously. A win is what you need. Next week, it doesn't get much easier. You're playing the Buccaneers, who are really good this year. Baker Mayfield is the MVP favorite right now. So it doesn't get easier for the Saints, but division opponent. Those games, it doesn't matter what the spread is. It doesn't matter who's favored. Those games are always good, especially against the Bucs. Saints-Bucks, great rivalry.
Great rivalry. Now, okay, we have a couple people saying hello to us.
Hello.
Our former coworker, Jalea, is tuning in. I know she's a loyal WLBT fan, and we're a loyal Jalea fan here at WLBT. So, hi, Jalea. How are you? On top of that, we have some interesting takes. I know you were in the room when we were talking about soup season, so I'm going to open up the question to you.
Yeah, this is when y'all started talking about it, I had to start thinking because I knew you were going to ask me this.
We got to end it. I can't just end on the Saints losing. I got to give you something good to think about. So, top soup for soup season.
This is tough because when you asked Anae, I was like, when she asked, I'm gonna have no idea what to say. We've canceled gumbo because it's not really a soup; it's its own thing. Like you said, it's a superior meal.
Just a whole different. That's a different level.
Yes. Now I like a lot of soups because like you go to a Chinese restaurant, those
like the egg drops.
Yes,
okay.
but that's not my favorite.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to. I'm a little old school maybe here. A good vegetable soup is hard to beat.
Hey, somebody said right up in here a vegetable beef soup.
Oh,
and then
with a grilled cheese and dip it in there. Oh my goodness. I will say what is it? Tomato basin soup. That's also very good.
Tomato bisque.
Bisque, yes.
Tomato bisque. That's really good.
If we're going seafood, another one. We got a crab meat bisque. That
crawfish bisque.
Yeah, that's another one. That's a good one. My mom makes a corn and crab bisque. It's incredible. I'm trying to think. Those are the top ones.
Wow.
What's the broccoli and cheddar? I used to a place I worked at had an incredible broccoli and cheddar soup. So I'm telling you, I like soup. So there's too many to pick from.
Okay, so Anae said she's not a soup connoisseur. Nate's claiming that he's the king of soup connoisseur.
Love soups.
And then I did see one in the comments as well, a squirrel gumbo. I don't know about that one. That was by Mark Willis. I don't know. I've never had squirrel gumbo. I don't think I want to try that.
I'm going to take his word on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to just take, you know what? According to Mark Willis, squirrel gumbo is where it is, and I'm going to trust him on that, and I don't need to try that.
Yeah, I'll pass as well.
All right, well, that is a look at your local news, weather, and sports. Thanks for tuning in on your Sunday night. You can tune in after the NFL game tonight and watch us on actual WLBT on TV, and we'll have an update on all of those news stories and, of course, more on sports. Have a great rest of your night.